mix it with shakara.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. That was awesome, Mausiki. So before we went on the break, we were talking about Femi Kuti. What does his music mean to you?
Okay, so it's interesting because I saw Femi just a couple of months ago right here at Variety Playhouse in Atlanta. And it seems as if Femi has definitely continued to carry the torch of his father. That, you know, even as a young man, he was playing in the band, playing saxophone in the band. And since Fela's death in 1997, he seems to definitely be the torchbearer for Afrobeat. And the other son, Sheun, also playing with, you know, I think it's Egypt 80, yes, in Nigeria. Yeah. So, you know, here we're seeing the legacy of Fela's music still live. And Femi is not shy about, you know, certain collaborations, like mixing a little hip hop in it with Mos Def. They had a song. And, you know, so he's, to me, he represents just the continuation of that lineage of music and maintaining it in the family, in the spirit of his father. Yeah, you know, with a modern day twist. He's also adding some electronic elements too, you know, but you kind of, I guess, shift with the time.
Yeah, exactly, group with the time. Tell us about your blend of Afrobeat that you play.
Okay, so what, I mentioned the funk music earlier. And I feel like there's definitely a connection between funk music and Afrobeat. Right. In fact, you know, most of us in the band, we view them very much the same. Okay. You know, that this certain groove. So in terms of the blend and the influence that I put in, and I'd like to speak well beyond the keyboard. So from the foundation, our main drummer, his name is Kenton Bostic. He's from South Carolina. And he studied this. He studied many musicians, but the one that's sort of the definitive musician, I feel like I should have mentioned his name earlier, and that is Tony Allen, who was, you know, the drummer who played on the drum set with Fela. And here's a man who would get on the drums and spend 6 hours straight, you know, from midnight till sunrise, 6 hours straight on the drum. And he talks about his influence from the traditional rhythms that he heard, and also jazz musicians like Art Blakey from the Jazz Messenger. So you're hearing, you know, just the rumble and the thunder in this music, and there's so many different rhythms. And it's so beautiful to see how those rhythms are used. And interestingly, just so in terms of building up the sound, we'll have him, you know, play many of those rhythms. But there are times where he will also show great flexibility and kind of shift into funk. So, you know, we're not playing, in my opinion, just like by the book, right, to the charts. We're also, you know, raised on hip hop, and we're also raised on jazz and funk. So we end up infusing those elements into the music, you know. So it is our take on, you know, the Afrobeat style. So rhythmically, you know, we'll mix in some hip hop, maybe even some Stevie Wonder in there where it fits in. Because while we're playing it, we're seeing what I would describe as like modal style, meaning that in the 60s and 70s, we see this style of music allowing for soloists to have longer solos. And it's sort of something that one could even argue is trance-inducing. You know, you've listened to some of this music, and after a while, it seems as if something else is taking over, right? And there are times where that literally happens. So, you know, we'll play those rhythms, and like I said, we kind of create sort of a hybrid sort of scenario with it, and pull on either some of our favorite jazz artists, and we'll also create some of our own, you know, styles. There's the song you mentioned earlier called Spirit Dancer, which is sung by Julie Dexter. And so we have, so more like jazzier sounding chords, you know. So you're hearing, you know, like some you know, really rich chords, and some of the other tunes, you know, kind of mainly deal with some of the scale, the minor scale. And so we try to find out, listen, and try to feel where those two sounds could blend together, harmoniously.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about if our viewers were interested in your music? Where could they go to get it?
Our latest CD, which is entitled "The Water Brought Us," can be found on iTunes, and we also will have them at our shows. So there's an upcoming CD, and there's a collaborative project that we've done with Roy Ayers, who is a
He also played with Fela, right?
renowned jazz musician, and yes, they played together, and they had the Center of the World, Africa Center of the World, and remarkable music together, So, and they did also a tune called 2000 Black, which talked about by the time the year 2000 comes, our minds will be in this, this righteous place, Hopefully we made that one.
Have you made that one?
We're shooting for 3,000 now.
Well, we talked about Femi's music, and he was in town promoting his Africa for Africa CD, which he was doing the tour of the USA, and we'll play that interview for you guys in a minute. So stay with us. We'll be back. Femi Kuti?
Speaking.
Welcome to Talk Time Africa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
It was an exceptional show yesterday.
Well, thank you.
And we had to catch up with you this afternoon because our fans are dying to see you. So how's it been so far, touring the USA with Africa to Africa? Africa for Africa?
It's been going very well, thank you.
Very good. Let me ask about that title, first of all. Where did that come from, Africa for Africa?
We need for Africa to care and love for Africa. For Africans to care and love for Africa, to understand our history and appreciate our past, to understand our countries are colonial structures, and to understand that African people don't pursue the case of the African people,
Right.
don't deserve to be our leaders.
Right. What you're saying is nobody can do it better than Africans themselves.
Yeah, we need friends, but if Africans are nonchalant about our condition, why should people outside be telling us that we are suffering?
Exactly.
And we don't know. That's sad. In Nigeria, if CNN and BBC tell us there was a genocide happening in Rwanda, we would not know.
Right.
Even in just our neighboring countries, Cameroon, Cotonou, Togo, Mali, we don't know what's going on. We get the news from the Western media.
Exactly.
All this is wrong.
It is. It is. And going by what you're saying about what we need to do to be responsible for our own countries and the countries around us, what do you think we can do as Africans? I know that you're saying that you've been a voice for social change and also for against injustice. But what are we doing as a people to see that this is changing our own generation?
By continue doing what we have been doing, but we need to hold our leaders accountable, not just by talking about it. And everybody will have to play a part. If any journalist can find bank accounts or how our leaders are spending our money in Europe and America, they should expose all this to the African people. We need to know what's going on. The African people don't know. People in the villages don't know what's going on, how bad and corrupt the leaders are, and how leaders take resources and the people for granted in Africa. So these are things that everybody has to do their job. While I'm singing, and a journalist has to go and research and find out what, and keep on writing. The more we write, a generation will come that will not tolerate all this rubbish by leaders. So sooner, compared to today and the time of Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, or my father, Kwame Nkrumah, Africans are very enlightened about their surroundings these days. If you consider the past and now.
Yes.
So we know what's going on. It's how collectively can we all make a difference And sooner or later, we'll come up with a brilliant idea on how to make a big difference.
About African...
Like in the Middle East,
Yes.
if they told the Middle East that they will erupt very soon, nobody would believe. Now, the youths are, and it's really the youths who started the movement. They are fed up.
Exactly.
They are fed up. Yeah. So one day, if they told us the Niger Delta will pick up arms one day, nobody will believe. So if the leaders, and this is not just this is a global economic change. People in the world, a generation has come that is just fed up.
Yes.
And it's spreading around the world. So Africans will rise very soon.
Thank you. And apart from changing one's own country within the continent, what about African unity? Because it seems like leaders just play lip service to that.
That was why Kwame Nkrumah formed the Organization of African Unity. But as we can see, they are just a toothless bulldog. All they do there is just squander money and talk about their own personal business.
Right.
And they have done nothing. When we see they have done absolutely nothing for the progress of Africa. After it has been, I think it was inaugurated in 1960. Nearly over 40 years.
Over 40 years now.
50 years. Precisely. What have they done? No development. And so it's not. It's about getting all African people. By the time every African understands that in our small homes we make a difference.
Right.
Just the thought of thinking Africa in our minds already is a big difference.
Yes.
By not looking up to Europe and America and thinking these are the greatest places to be.
Right.
Thinking what is my little contribution I can contribute for the progress of my people. Just the thought alone already is a big difference.
Right. Right. Thank you for your insight on African politics. Now let's go to your music. And you recently won an award, the World Music Award for Best Artist. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
How did that make you feel?
It was fans that voted me. I didn't know I had so many listeners. I am very. It gives me motivation and it makes me. I'm happy because then I know I have to work harder. I know people are listening, so it gives me more courage.
Okay.
It gives me more courage to go back home and fight. And it shows me I'm on the right direction.
Very good. I can attest to that you're on the right path.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Fela of the Broadway musical for a second. They were recently in Nigeria, and I understand that was a great show. What do you think about that?
I thought it was excellent. I was very impressed. I'm very proud of it. But it's a shame that it takes Americans to tell us how great Fela was. But then it shows again, we can look at the positive side and see that Fela belongs to the world, not just Nigeria.
Right.
So if it's influencing, if his music has cut across to great America,
yes,
I think we can only be very proud as Africans that, well, if our own person is making waves outside our continent, we should be very happy.
Yeah.
And if Americans are making a big deal out of a big deal,
yes,
cannot but be too happy as his family.
We cannot ignore that.
We are very, I don't think any member of the family can say he or she is not impressed.
Yeah.
And proud.
Right. Oh, yes.
We're very proud of it.
We are. Indeed, we are. And they also were with you at the shrine. How was that experience?
It was a great evening.
Very good. Did you do any of your songs with them, or they were purely the songs that they came up with on Fela the Broadway musical?
It was their songs. I just did the last number with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Now you were nominated for the Grammys once in 2003, and also again in 2010. And I'm looking at Africa for Africa. I think it's going places.
Thank you for the Thank you.
I
Yeah, and so far so good. I mean, the greatest thing any artist can appreciate is that first the critics like it, people like it, your audience like it. Nothing was people saying, oh, okay, it's not bad. It's been really encouraging, and it was done under a lot of stress and duress, and everybody was very scared that because normally what I do is I use a lot of technology to enhance my music.
Okay.
And this time around, it's very, very not produced like the last albums I've been doing. So everybody was like, oh, people are already used to this style. They might be disappointed. And we had to really take a very big decision that, look, this is what I need to be at this point in my life. And as we kept our fingers crossed, and immediately people, oh, they liked it, oh, we liked it. So that was very encouraging, and I mean, it brought so much satisfaction to my spirit and my soul.
Yeah.
So if I win awards because of it, I mean, that's just a plus. But the first step is that the critics like it, the journalists are giving me reviews, radio stations are playing it. So already this is already very exciting for me.
Yes.
Now, if I win that award, I mean, all these are just bonuses on, it's just bringing extra smiles to my life.
Of course.
And people that like me, people are congratulating me, and I mean, all this is good. Thank you.
Very, very well done. It has a lot of different feel to it. The sounds are different, but you can identify that this is Femi Kuti. Very, very great work. Great work.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us again this afternoon. I know you have to go. You have a show in Louisiana. By the way, how is Cinco de Mayo down there?
In New Orleans, I'm very impressed. I mean, after the flood we had here, things are getting back to normal very fast. I'm really impressed. I hope my spirit can give them some more energy to go out and continue building. And because I'm a lover of New Orleans, I've played here a couple of times, and I really like the city very much. So I hope I can contribute my only quota in giving them encouragement and energy with my music this evening.
And you carry all that positive energy with you.
Yes, we try.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you as always, my brother. Thank you for joining us on Talk Time Africa.
Okay, then. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
So thank you guys for watching our show today, the celebration of Afro-beat with our special guest, Mausiki Scales. Remember, live your dreams. Enjoy the moment. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Good job. With that dance too, you know? All right. I go.